Welcome back to this week's episode, and on this week we're going to be talking about a few of those trips that you go on and by the end of it you wish you'd never gone. There's just stuff that's gone wrong from start to finish and everything in between.
You're dead right there. But we're also going to dibble a bit about how the younger generation understands our live sonar a lot better than us, because we're starting to get old in our age, and a few little tips and tricks as well.
Yep, and talking about how they're looking at banning it over in the bass scene, the professional bass scene over in the States.
Yeah, so that's a big eye-opener. As we can see, it could come to Australia, but it's wait and listen.
Yeah, wait and listen. And of course, the time is upon us. Spring bite for yellers and bass.
Oh.
And this is one of Aaron's favourite times of year. They can go out and brain tens on tens on tens of yellow belly.
Yeah, quality and quantity at once.
How good. And we might have a little bit of surprise. We're looking at running a comp.
I reckon we will.
Yeah, until cod opening. So, guys, stay tuned to the end of the episode. All right, back into it.
Let's send it.
How are you feeling, brother?
Pretty good, mate, actually. I've got quite a good buzz tonight.
We have got a bit of a bendiness tonight, haven't we?
And it all makes it worth it.
Just makes the stories flow a bit easier, a bit looser.
Yeah, open up them ear holes because you're going to hear some fuck-ups tonight.
And we're going to go back to talk about, a bit of cod fishing. We're in close season now, so it's fun to reminisce on some of the stories that we did. A couple of stuff-ups.
Memories make what we are. So,
isn't it? Like, it's not necessarily all about the trip and catching the fish. It's about the journey getting there and trying to make it happen.
Sometimes you don't even make it.
No. And I've got the perfect story about that too.
Oh, let us know.
So, me and Jared's been mentioned a few times in this in the series, but we try and go down to a codfish down in Wyangla, and we're all keen for it. We get off on the Friday. We're starting to head down. We go to Molong. We fill up with fuel, and oh my God, doesn't it? That buckle us. Straight off bat, pull up, you're getting diesel, you're getting fuel in the boat, you're 500 bucks deep.
How good is fuel, by the way?
Mate, cost of living has just gone through the bloody roof.
It really has.
Which hurts a lot of the blokes that want to go travelling different places, fishing. It hurts you at home. Yeah,
it really does.
It really sucks at the moment, and hopefully the government fucking sorts it out.
Pull your finger out, mate.
So, yeah, we pull up Molong, head down. We get to Wyangla that night pretty late because I finished at like 1 o'clock on a Friday, so we're heading out after that.
You got about a 5-hour drive, I reckon, to Wyangla?
Oh, 4? Yeah. We took a back way. And this is where the mischief starts.
Is this the one I sent you on?
Yes, it is.
Trust me, you got quicker to the water, but...
Yeah. So we head in to Wyangla back way. We go round to Quart Pot.
Quart Pot. Yeah.
But we keep going around to, is it Gertie's?
Yeah, you got Gertie's. Yep.
Yep. Well, I didn't realise that after a couple of the floods and the rains and stuff, Gertie's had turned into a bloody four-wheel drive track. So here I am. I'm towing a bass boat behind me down a fucking four-wheel drive track. We get down this little goat track by the end of it, and I can't reverse because it's a narrow little lane. Try and get down. And there's probably this 20 to 30 metre steep descent, rocks everywhere, and I shit a brick. I'm like, I can't reverse back. The only way forward is through. So I got Jared out on the two-way, and he's there calling out rocks left and right. And the worst thing about this trailer is it's got those low profile bloody rims. It's got 20-inch rims on it.
Yeah, the bloke who ordered that trailer should have thought about it a bit more, eh?
What an idiot.
Yeah, he's a grub. Anyway, I was the bloke that sold Dane that boat.
So yeah, it literally took us about half an hour to get this trailer down safely through this little patch, 20 or 30 metre patch, because there's just ruts and rocks and all sorts of shit. And then we get past it, the sun's starting to set. We're like, fuck me. Set up camp, get the boat in the water, and we're off.
Yeah.
And you can, we're across pretty much, if you go to Quart Pot and you look across that little bay, that's where we're camped.
That's right, yeah.
So back the boat in the water, we get off, we start fishing. We get about 4 or 5 hours into that night, from 7 to 11 or 12 at night. See a couple of cracking fish. Cannot turn any of them. But we're like, okay, they're here. We know where they are. Just got to figure out when and how and what bait they're going to bite.
Should ask Skeezy. He knows.
Yeah, should have rang up Skeezy before I left, but nah, we didn't think about that. Try and work it out ourselves. So first night, total bust. See a couple of good fish, whatever. Go back to camp. Get back to camp, set up, have a bit of a feed. And then I realise I've forgotten all my camp, all the pillows and blankets, sleeping bags. Nah, fucking forgot them all.
I hope Jared Hugg's good.
So it's not middle of winter. It's just on the start of winter. It's like a June last year, something like that. And it's cold. It's getting down to almost 0. It's 13s during the day. And that was the coldest night's sleep I've ever had, I reckon.
He didn't squeeze you.
Well, he's in his own swag, mate.
I would have jumped in with him.
He said that. He said, mate, if you're that cold, come jump in here. I was like, nah, mate, I'm good. I've seen you fart and they fucking kill a small child.
Yeah, it would. It really would. And it'd be like a slow, painful death.
Yeah. So here I am. I'm in my swag and I put on every single bit of clothing I fucking own just to try and warm up. I flog one blanket off him and it's like one of those hospital blankets, the wool blankets. And they're not too bad, but it's too short for me. I'm 6'3". And that thing is slightly too short for me and it's not keeping me warm at all. So I'm shivering all night. I get up at about 4 o'clock. I've had enough of this shit. I've had fucking 2 hours sleep. I'm like, righto. Get up, have a look around and go, nah, fuck it, I'm going back to bed. No, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Anyway, get up in the morning. Sun's just starting to peak up. We have some breakfast and while we're having breakfast, we see these 2 jet skis, 2 jet black jet skis. You can see them in the sun, and they're hooking across the dam.
Yep.
I'm like, who the fuck is jet skiing in the middle of winter when it's 10 degrees less? It would have been less at that point. Cold as fuck. Like, what? Who the fuck is jet skiing at this time? Didn't think about it at all. Had breakfast, got in the boat, and started heading down the river. Anyway, get down less than 5 minutes away from where we camped. Who is it? Maritime.
Oh, lovely.
And I was like, at this point, I'd owned the boat for about 8 months. And I was like, I'm sweet. It's all good. No matter. He puts on his sirens and he fucking turns around on us and comes and waves us down and slow the boat down. Hey, mate, how you going? Yeah, good, mate. How are you? We have a good conversation for 5 minutes. Where are you from, mate? Are you down here for a little while? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, mate, I just need to check your life jackets and your fire extinguisher. Yeah. And you got everything on board. Chuck him the 2 life jackets, show him the fire extinguisher, show him all the safety gear, the whistle, the bailout bucket, all that sort of stuff. And he's like, oh, yeah, no worries. He's like, mate, your life jackets are out of date. And I went, no, they're not. I went, no, then it can't be. The bloke who used to own this boat is checks life jackets. He signs them off.
I do.
Well, apparently he hadn't that year. They were, and get this, they were 2 weeks out of date.
And the mother lover got you for that.
2 weeks out of date they were.
Oh, I would have told him that.
Oh, man, mate, I've only owned it for 8 months. And he looked up on his phone. He's like, oh, yeah, I can see it's only registered your name for the last 8 months, blah, blah, blah. He's like, mate, there's still 2 weeks out of date. I can't let you keep going. And he's like, then he turned around to the fire extinguisher, which I didn't check. This is my fucking issue. And he's like, oh, the fire extinguisher's 6 months out of date. And I went, oh, come on.
Sorry, I'm not speaking no English.
So I'm just like, mate, look, 8 months owning this boat. What do you want me to do? He's like, look, I can either cop you with a $600 fine right now, or you turn around and I'll give you an hour to get off the water, and we're sweet. So after driving 4 hours down there, or 3-4 hours down there, fishing for 3 to 4 hours, next morning get told to turn around, and I said, mate, I'm not trying to fight you on this. I'm not being an arsehole. I understand that you're just doing your job. I said, but I've had to forward drive this bloody trailer down this hill, and it's going to take me more than an hour. And he watched us for an hour as I drove this trailer up, out, over the quart pot, backed it in onto the sandy bank, got bogged trying to put the trailer in. He's still watching us. Finally got the boat back on and got in and got out of there. 4 hours back, me and Jared are like, we've got all weekend to fish. We went and got our little tinny and went fucking fishing in the river.
I do remember that because I got the phone call. Mate, I'm back in town. Let's go fishing in the river. And I was like, let's do.
So, yeah, we went out all that night and everything, just bait fishing, a couple of lures and whatever. But, oh, man, that's the filthiest I've ever been, I think, on the fishing trip. Just like, it's one of those moments where you get back home, you're like, I shouldn't have gone. Just shouldn't have gone.
Should have stayed home.
Should have stayed home. That's right.
And like I've had, like, don't get me wrong, Maritime do their job and they do it very well.
And I was in the wrong. I'll admit that every day of the week. He was very good to me. Like
I can say one from Windermere once again, the famous Windermere Dam.
All the issues go.
An experience with the Maritime. And it was not the most pleasant.
Yeah.
So I actually went upriver with Corey.
Was this during a comp?
No, I was actually no, sorry, yeah, it was.
It was during a comp, yeah. I think you've mentioned this before.
Yeah, went up river for a comp and we got pulled up by Maritime, and which is fair enough. They're doing their job.
That's right. That's what they're there to help and try and protect and all the rest.
He's gone through my life jackets. I was all good.
It was good at that point, was it?
It was good. And he's got to me anchor. And I literally put brand new speakers in this Nitro that you now own. Yeah. So I put brand new speakers.
Those Fusion head deck and speakers, they are beautiful, man.
Hey, man. Marry up the Garmin.
Yep.
So
Bluetooth and everything. What are they? It's a 5 pound anchor that you got to have with the outside boat. 4 pound anchor.
4 pound, yeah. And this is where the argument started. Was he'd picked up this? Oh, he checked our life jackets. He checked the bail and buckets and all that stuff. And
all the regular
all good.
shit.
He was in a great mood. I was in a great mood until we got to the anchor. I had my anchor in a packet. It was still in the plastic, which he was not happy about. He's like, oh, this should be easily accessed. I said, that's fine, mate. Right, I understand that.
Take it out. 5-second job.
But on the label, it said it was 4 pound.
Yeah.
What did he do? He picked it up to see if it was 4 pound. I shit you not, I handed it to him.
Yeah.
And he said, I just want to make sure it's 4 pound. And I'm like, well, it's brand new in the packet. Of course, it's going to be 4 pound.
Yeah.
Anyway, hand it to him. Oh, yep, happy with that. Yeah, mate, yep. As he's going to pass it back to me, there's a bit of a fucking bad wiki slipper, and I've somehow dropped this thing. It's gone straight through the speaker. Oh. I was filthy. And me being a bit of a hot.
Actually, I remember replacing those speakers with you.
Yeah, 100%. We had to replace them. And I remember just going, well, you want to give me a fine, you want to make sure it covers this speaker because I'm fucking hitting you with it. It wasn't the most pleasant thing. He was, it's not my fault. You dropped it and I'm filthy. I'm like, mate, I just spent like literally nearly $2,000 on these speakers and you've just put a hole through them.
Oh, no.
I was very, very angry. But we got over that. I got me £4 anchor and he did not fine me for anything, which I was not doing anything illegal apart from the 10 drum nets upstream. But
no. Go away.
No, it was I was pretty filthy on that.
Yeah, I mean, you had a good interaction overall, but
yeah, he was good. And I remember we went back to the boat ramp and he was at the boat ramp checking boats coming in, and he really did apologise to me. He was like, mate, I'm sorry,
okay,
blah, blah, blah. I said, look, mate, I got a bit hot-headed. I'm sorry, but...
Smooth it over a bit. Like, it's one of those just sucky situations that happens in life and you just got to fucking cop it.
Like, my missus makes cakes, mate, and I know you can cover anything with icing. So
That's right. You attract more flies with honey than vinegar, whatever it is.
Amen. So, that was just a bad experience, but... all in all, he was still a good bloke to me.
A good fella. So,
bit of a good and bad, but that was my experience with maritime.
Yeah.
I've never got a fine ever.
No, and that's neither did I. And God bless them. That's
they're doing
good
their
on
job.
them. They're doing their job. They're trying to keep people safe. They're trying to make sure people have the right safety on board.
Yeah,
but sometimes it just ruins a trip.
Just get out of my way. I'm trying to catch a fish, lad. There.
Just trying to catch a fish. I suppose recently we've had another mate had a not ruined by a maritime, but ruined just for whatever reason over in Vanuatu.
Oh yes, yeah. A couple of the local fellas went over to Vanuatu for a holiday, didn't they?
Yeah, they went over, thought they'd have a good time, drink some beers.
They did have a good time.
Oh, they had a brilliant time. Played some golf even.
Yeah, a bit of golf.
Oh, did you get the Snapchat off him? He accidentally hit that bird.
Oh, yeah, killed the bird mid-flight.
He accidentally killed his bird mid-flight hitting a golf swing, an iron onto the green.
Speaking of which, he went bird watching, didn't he?
Well, that's pretty much all he did on his fishing trip by the sounds.
Yeah. So what the boy, I think it was anywhere between $1,200 and $1,650, depending on what it was.
It was $300 and something bucks a head for males.
Yeah, and there was five plus a kid.
Yeah, yeah. So I think they spent $1,200, $1,300 on this charter in Vanuatu.
So they get on a 5 metre plate boat, I think you said, and they ventured out into the old mighty ocean and thought they'd catch
from what I've heard, they did about a 3-hour sight looking.
Yeah.
Just driving around for 3 hours.
You got to find the bait.
What were they looking for? Dogtooth tuna.
Yeah, they're after doggies, and apparently there's a lot of them over there at this time of year. So I know nothing about that, but this is what I've been told.
No bust ups. Couldn't find the bust ups.
No 3 metre flatties, and they've after a couple of hours, they haven't even touched the rod, so they decided to go to the reef. There was 5 blokes and 1 kid, and not that many rods. So,
what was it, 2 or 3 rods or something?
Yeah, a few of the boys had to get some hand lines.
And when you're that deep on the reef, can you imagine trying to reef a hand line up that far?
Yeah, I actually got told by one of the boys today that he got the hand line up after the first drop, and he said, no more. He threw it on the ground and he said, I'll just watch you boys.
Sat back and drank tins.
Moral of the story is they never caught a fish. They went out and watched some seagulls and shit and maybe a couple of whales. But very expensive trip for nothing. So make sure.
Another one of those times is like, I should have stayed home.
When you go to places like that, spend the money.
Yeah.
Get some.
Find the right guide, find the right charter, go spend the money.
So this was one that the motel recommended when they got there. Don't do it.
It's a hotel's cousin or something running his little plate boat trying to earn a bit of money on the side.
He just made $1,600 in half a day.
To watch these boys fucking be defeated.
Yeah, so do a bit of research on it if you're going overseas chasing fish.
But you've had a pretty couple of good Vanuatu trips, haven't you? Have a couple of good visits.
I do love Vanuatu. Yeah, I have been there a few times.
And, plan it right, plan it at the right time, and it's bloody cheap.
Yeah, it really is. Like, honestly, if you get the right flights, you can get them under $200. Like, Vanuatu's...
When was the last time you went? 10 years ago?
Nah, shit. Probably 7 years ago.
7 years ago?
So it might have gone up a bit by then. But,
yeah,
I went over there and had an absolute fat time. I didn't go outside. It was really rough the whole time I was there. I've been there 3 times, I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was good all in all. But, I've got to scuba dive with some gigantic GTs and done all that unreal stuff.
Hang on. Wasn't there a story about you with a Goliath groper?
Yeah.
Doing a bit of a dive over there?
When I thought I was bigger than I was. So, yeah, that's a good story.
Go on. Give us a yarn.
Well, the old guide told me there was a Goliath groper living on this bommy we were swimming over.
Yeah.
And...
How deep? Like, how deep?
Oh, it was probably about, maybe 10 metres deep to the bottom.
Oh, okay,
It wasn't extreme.
Just skin diving, like just with a snorkel, not with...
No fucking breather apparatus, shit like that. There was none of that fancy stuff. It was, you want to get down there, you free dive.
You free dive down.
It's fair enough, and I had a good pair of lungs on me back then before I pumped the vapes into me. And
all the rest of it,
yeah. I've swum down and, like, it explained that this groper lives on the backside of this bommy and blah, blah, blah. And I said, fuck, all I want to do is see this groper. I don't give a shit about all the little fish. I just want to see the groper.
Because they'd be unreal.
Oh, mate, they're...
Like, face to face, they'd be unreal.
But in water is insane.
Because what they get up to, I don't know how big they get, but they look fucking
700-800 pound type of things. Like at an estimate, I reckon this thing was well over half a ton.
Yeah.
Is a big boy.
Yeah. What, 8 foot long? Longer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd probably say 7 or 8 foot. Oh, just a solid animal.
Like a huge mouth on him, he'd fucking swallow your head.
Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah, his mouth is well wider than my shoulder width. Yeah. So the guides actually give us bread to feed all the little fish because they just come up in plagues and smash it and stuff like that.
What sort of fish? Like little triggerfish or tangs or...
Oh, mate, if I named them, there'd be 1,000 species. Like, there is so many fish living on these bommies over there. And like little GTs and even a couple of coral trout, mate. We were getting coral trout come up and eat bread out of their hands, which is pretty cool.
How cool is that? That's neat.
And so I decided... I got on the boat and instead of grabbing one slice of bread, I grabbed a whole loaf.
Go big, go home.
Yeah, and I said, I'm going for the big girl down there. So we had wetsuits on. I chucked this whole loaf of bread inside my wetsuit. And I was like, right, I'm going to swim down to the bottom and I'm going to feed this groper because I could honestly free dive pretty well.
Yeah.
So, and I remember...
Have you done much before? You just like, fucking wing it?
Yeah, no, like I'd done a lot in the local swimming pool and stuff, sitting on the bottom at 10 metre pool for...
Free dive in the local flatties in the fucking swimming pool.
Yeah, full chooks. And, yeah, I remember I'd done it, and as I've gone in, obviously bread's breaking up in my shirt and stuff like that. So I've got fish attacking me the whole way down.
All the way down. They're following you down.
And I've got to the side of this bommy, and I'm like, there is no groper in sight
at all.
So I'm like, oh, well... And I've literally probably give it 10 seconds, which felt like a minute down there. And
holding your breath like that.
No good. So I went to get this loaf of bread out, and as I pulled it out of me wetsuit, I shit you not, there was this monstrous fish
just popped up
a metre in front of me. I don't know where he come from. He was like Jaws.
Sneaky as fuck.
And I've gone, holy shit. And I pulled the loaf of bread out, and I remember all the little fish around my hands, and I threw the loaf of bread towards him.
Yeah.
Mind you, he is probably 1.5 metres in front of me.
Yeah.
And as I've let the bread go, he's done the old engulf, through the gills and sucked it in.
Yeah.
And I remember my whole body feel like I was getting dragged towards him.
No.
So that's where my panic mode happened. I was like, this thing's going to eat me.
He's after more than a loaf of bread.
Yeah. I watched this loaf of bread go straight in his gullet, and I was next. So I've hit the panic button. I've shot straight up the server.
Yeah. Well, by that time, you've forgotten about your fucking need to breathe.
Yeah. I got up and it did take me a bit to get back in the water. I was like, I fed the groper, and he was like, oh, really? Like, he was so excited because he was like, I don't see many people get down to him. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know why. Like, he's a big animal.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you had to go. And I said, I watched that loaf of bread, that full loaf of soggy bread I had, go down his mouth like it was a Tic Tac. And I was the main
next?
course.
Bit of prime rib right there, boy.
I didn't go back down to him because I was a bit fearful. But yeah, no, that was an absolutely
awesome.
cool experience. I did get to feed a groper with a loaf of bread.
Yeah, that's
not many
cool.
people get to do that.
Yeah.
But one of the other things that stood out on the island for me was I got to release a sea turtle.
A sea turtle?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sea turtle, like, turtles are just awesome, man.
I'm not going to tell you how much I paid, but I paid a bit.
What do you mean you had to pay to release a sea turtle?
So the local kids used to capture these turtles and sell them out of a bucket. And
What, just sitting on the side of the beach and they got a couple of turtles in a bucket?
yeah, that's it.
How big are they?
Oh, mate, they'd be 10 centimetres round. They're tiny, like fresh out of the egg. And I thought it was pretty cool to go get one and paid ridiculous amounts of Australian dollars to get
And that's
this
what they were
turtle.
selling for, just like, hey, mate, you want to buy a turtle so you can release it?
Yes, but, they sell the turtles, but being a tourist, you can't really do anything else but let it go.
Go
Because
down to the beach, let it go in the ocean, way you rock.
So I paid a stupid amount of money for these turtles, and
Yeah.
I got to watch them swim away on the beach.
Isn't that a good market? Because you just know there's one of his mates out and about 20 metres out getting those turtles back. And
He's
rocking back
recollecting
up in the
it.
bucket.
Like, it was a great marketing strategy.
Oh, these Aussie fellas have got no fucking idea. They're
Shit,
paying money for these turtles we're releasing, recatching. That's crazy. That is crazy. But actually, speaking of like Goliath gropers and all that, many people don't know this. But I haven't read the book personally, but I know you have.
Mm-hmm.
Murray cod
Yeah.
come from the the groper family.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
You're probably better off telling this because I'm going to butcher it.
Yeah,
But
it is a bit of
how did Murray cod come from a saltwater fish, the groper, to be in our local rivers? Take it away.
So the theory is Murray cod obviously being a part of Goliath groper in the same family and gene stuff. They ended up getting landlocked through high and low tide type of thing.
Yeah,
And-
so they're in a lagoon or they're in some sort of area where they swim into, and then all of a sudden they can't swim back to the ocean.
And just like every other animal on the earth is they adapt to their habitat.
Yeah.
And thousands of years later, maybe not that, I honestly don't know. But
Yeah.
down the track, they've pretty much evolved into
Come back
what
into
they are now.
So they've gone from a saltwater to a brackish water animal, and then from the brackish water,
Yeah.
they've swum up into fresh,
Yep.
and they keep going.
Like it's a long process, not like a couple of
Yeah.
years, obviously. But
Tens of thousands of years.
yeah,
The old evolution takes a
it's
bit
quite
of
a
a
long
while.
time.
Yeah.
I've always been fascinated in cod in my life. They're,
Yep.
like we spoke before, they're such a unique creature
Aren't they? They're
And-
just beautiful, man.
to look at.
Like even if like from what I've heard, like you take a Murray cod and you take a Goliath, they got the same amount of spines, they got the same amount of fins in the right place.
Yeah.
They got the same sort of jaw hinging method. They got the same sort of shape head and mouth and
Even down to territorial.
yeah, well that's right. You hear about Goliath groper, they sit on those shipwrecks, they sit on what do you call them, a berm? What was the thing you were diving on?
Like a bommy.
Bommy. Sorry,
Yeah.
berm. They sit on a bommy. Like they sit in one place and they wait for shit to come
that's
to
their
them.
home. Yeah.
That's how cod act. They find a big log. They find a nice bit of sticks or whatever, and they wait for stuff to come to them and just suck them in.
Yeah, suck them in. And like that's what we've learnt with LiveScope as well is, yes, they have a home, but they hunt a lot as well. Being such a large, I guess you could call them a predatory fish.
Yeah.
Is they've always got a home, but they've got to move around a lot for food. So that's when
Just find a place to wait and sit, and then they just attack.
like I know finding fish on their log or whatever.
Yeah.
You will not get them to turn. You won't get them to interact with anything.
Yeah.
You can go back a month later and they're still sitting on the same log.
Same log. Yeah.
Which is unreal.
Whether it's the same fish or not, or they move around or whatever. But
yeah. And like Rod McKenzie, one of the greatest Australian fishermen.
And yeah, I was just about to bring this point up. Like when he came to the shop here and did a talk night with Glenn Casey.
Yep.
Shout out Bassman Spinner Baits. He was talking about in the Murray, he can pull out multiple meteries off the same log jam.
Yep.
Which, you think the whole time I've been fishing, I think about cod as being territorial. There's only going to be one big fish on a log or something like that. But from what he was talking about, he's had multiple meteries come off this same log. They're not territorial outside of breeding season.
Yeah.
Just normal season, and he can catch multiple meteries off the same log.
Yeah.
Unreal.
And that was one thing, like I said, I grew up and bigger the log, bigger the fish type of thing.
Oh,
but
the log,
live
yeah.
sonar has taught us that that's not right.
No, that's right. You learn a bit more about what they're doing, how
You
they're
do.
behaving. And
I remember going back 5-6 years ago. I had a trip in the river with my cousin Corey. Once again, fished with him a lot. Love him to death.
Yep.
And I got a meter two off a log, and we were pumped. We got another bag, mate. Got a couple of happy snaps.
Anyone's happy with that.
We paddled back out, and he got belted by another fish and dropped it, and it straightened his back treble on the same
something
log.
huge as again.
Yeah, same log.
And you still had the meter two in your lap.
So literally 10 minutes later,
Yeah.
after I've hooked my meter two, another metery fish has eaten his lure off this exact same log, probably 2 foot from where mine was.
That's unreal, isn't it?
And that's in the river. So
Yeah.
whether they were a breeding pair or not, I don't know. But
What time
I
of year
probably
was it? Do you remember? Or
Yeah, it was June.
June. Okay, so leading up, like they're sort of, maybe pairing off by that point to start.
Yeah, could have been, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was pretty cool. Like, but get this, it gets even better.
Here we go.
After dropping that fish, he was heartbroken. I remember him shaking in the kayak.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, that was a big fish. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like,
Yeah.
how cool would that have been if you landed that thing?
Double hook up meteries off the same log. That'd be unreal.
We've literally gone 20 metres up the river. And I shit you not, it was 20 metres at max. He's gone the other side of the river and banged a metre 4.
He is a freak, but Corey is a freak fish.
He is a freak.
Yeah, unreal.
He could pull a fish out of fucking anything.
Yeah.
Like,
So just to recap, Corey Honberg, which is Uncle Russ, which we've talked about in the last couple of episodes, that's his son.
that's right.
And all those Honberg boys know how to fish. They know all the spots. They know what to do, where to go.
Yeah, Corey's got the knack. He really has.
He's got yeah.
And Uncle Russ has definitely give that to him. And I tell you, we could go fishing on the river, and like I remember the day I caught that meter 2, and I was absolutely pumped. I caught another swim bait, and I'm like, yeah, fucking oath, Corey. Like, and he's gone to the same snag and dropped a absolute cracking fish. That
Yeah.
we'll never get to know. And then go 20 metres upriver and catch a meter
another
4.
metery.
I said to him after I caught my meter 2, I said, beat that.
Well, guess what?
He fucking did. So, yeah, Corey is such a good fisherman.
Yeah,
he
just
really
a freak
is.
of a
And
fisherman.
still is to this day. I've
Yeah.
fished most of my life with Corey, and I'd never take anything back. He's magic.
Great fisherman. Great fisherman. Yeah, which kind of leads into we have the last couple of episodes we've talked about the live scope, sonar technology they've come out and how it's developing the fishing industry. And look, we're not on either side. We don't give a stuff. And some people have attacked us about using live scope sonar. And look, you know what 90% of my fishing is in the river?
We do.
No,
not
100%. 100% of our fishing in the river, I don't have a sonar on the boat at all.
God, no.
And most of the time we're in the river, we're in my little flat bottom 3 metre tinny, and all it's got is a motor on the back, electric on the front, and rods in between, and a couple of dickheads. Or we're in the kayaks. Like,
Yeah,
that's 90% of our cod fishing, and then sometimes we go to the dam and we do use live sonar. And
which is absolutely fine.
for us, absolutely fine. Some people don't like it. Some people do. Make up your own mind. I'm either way. I've got it. I love it.
Yeah, like there's no way I'd want to go to the dam without it. I'll tell you that.
No, I disagree. I've only had it the last 2 years, if that.
Yeah.
And going to the dam, and pretty much all I had before the boat I have now was a 4 metre tinny. I had a HDS. No, I had an Elite 9.
Yeah.
Elite 9 Lowrance sounder on it. And I could still sound out cod. I could know where they were. I could figure out how they were working, following the bait schools, all the rest. And that was just as exciting to me.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I still do, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you go to the dam, you have a good time, even if you don't catch a fish, because where we are, Burrendong, it is a hard empowerment to catch good cod in. I haven't caught many.
100%, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why we were so excited on the first or second episode, whatever it was, and you called an 87. It was fat 87.
Oh, yeah, proper. There was a meter in the river every day of the week.
Yeah.
But
And it played up so well. But we were so excited for that fish because it is a hard empowerment, maybe for us. I mean, we're not pros or nothing. But
not the skiers boys.
we're not the skiers boys. But that was such a good fish for us because it's something local but hard to do.
Yeah.
And we travelled 200 Ks that weekend just to get that one fish. Upriver.
And I'm the same. Like I love going to the river and enjoying myself and casting and whatnot without live scope, without live sonar, whatever you want to call it. But when I go to the dam, I still enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Like to me, there's no difference. It's just a preference.
Yeah, it is a preference, and that's what I believe too. Well, especially you go to somewhere like Burrendong, and maybe not many people have been to Burrendong. So just to put it into perspective, Burrendong is 6 to 7 times larger than the Sydney Harbour.
It is. It's a big waterway.
And like we said, we travelled over 200 Ks in one weekend just on that dam, just in one river arm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What's going to help you benefit?
What's going to help you love fishing more and catch more fish? Live sonar.
The thing I love about it is when you ask someone that doesn't have it, is what's the number one thing you love about fishing?
Catching fish.
Is catching fish.
100%.
So if you've got a tool available on the market that anyone can buy.
Yep. And don't get us wrong, it is expensive.
It is.
It's expensive to get into it.
Yeah.
But if fishing is your number one hobby, like you and me and a lot of other people listening to this podcast, you are going to put the most amount of money into that hobby because you bloody
enjoy it.
Love it.
If it gives you
Whether it
way
be
more chances of fish.
boats or rods or reels or lures, like I would hate to think how many dollars I've got in lures.
Oh, it's
And
ridiculous.
some of the crap I've never fucking thrown. I just find it, I like, you know what the saying is, like they make lures pretty to catch the angler, not the fish.
Yeah, that's their first catch. But like in saying that too, like I've seen, I sell that product for a living as well.
You do.
And
yeah.
I've known the ins and outs. I've really looked into the live sonar thing, and I don't see a problem with it, but I also fish without it. So there's no mediocre type of thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the thing with me is a lot of the older anglers they kind of see what's going on and going, oh, well, it might be kind of cheating, classified as that.
And I can see from their point of view.
Oh, 100%, so can I. Like, we've all done the hard yards to catch our first meatery fish.
Except me,
meatery. But it's the younger generation. As much as I disagree with it, the younger generation that has grown up with video games and iPads and games like that, they can pick live scope up and fish so much better than a bloke that's fished the last
it's just like
10
one of
years.
our mates steps on the boat. What's he call it? Boat Nintendo.
Boat Nintendo.
It is.
And
It is
gamer.
Boat Nintendo.
Mate, I have shown countless blokes how to use live scope, and exactly what you just said then. I took him to a comp, we fished, and I showed him live scope. Mate, he would have picked it up in 2 hours and started braining fish like I have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's because it's the technology like that involves that younger generation.
Yeah. We're so used to looking at screens and everything else.
It's hard to face. We all didn't grow up in trees and grass and playing with Hot Wheels and shit in the dirt. But this new generation is...
Go with an iPad in front of their face.
It really is. So technology is so much more advanced for them.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, we're just got to grab that football and run it hard.
Yeah. And, I mean, this is coming from me. I've tried all my life to catch a meatery. I've sanded up quite a few, whether it be with 2D sonar, live sonar, whatever else. I still haven't got one.
Neither.
I'm still not but I still haven't caught one, even with the live sonar. And hey, I'm not a pro fisherman. I just love doing it. I do. I really love doing it. But this kind of brings the conversation into overseas with the bass.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried there.
Worried? Why are you worried?
Well, to me, it's a tool we can all use. It's available to everyone. And once again, you don't have to use it to catch fish. But, yeah, I've seen the debate over in the USA and how they want to ban live scope and live sonar.
Any forward-facing live sonar,
Bang on. Yep. Very well worded. And, it's going back to everyone has to develop with the technology.
You have to propel the industry, not just you, not just whatever, the fishing industry forward.
It makes... We've spoke this back in Banksy's podcast. We've spoke to lure developers and manufacturers and stuff like that. They are now getting bigger due to live scope because they've got to make baits and lures and whatnot to suit this new style of fishing.
And it started with swim baits. To be honest, like for me, looking at how people have developed with the different sonars that have come out, you've had to develop realistic baits. So you've got your swim baits, and then from there they're developing super hyper realistic plastics.
Yeah.
And it just goes from there.
But you couldn't get a more neutral person or group. Me and Dane are the most neutral people to it.
Yeah,
we both love it.
90, like I always said, like 90% of my fishing, not live sonar. I do not give a damn about any sort of sounders in the river.
No,
I don't use it at all. So 90% of my fishing is sonar free.
Like you could ring us up and go, oh, let's go barra fishing. We don't rock up expecting there's a live scope because we still enjoy the sport. Everyone can still enjoy the sport. And I do agree with some people that live scope is making the fishing a little bit tougher in the impoundments because there's always a lure end on a fish's head. But that's another thing we've got to develop with is new ideas. That's playing around with your lures in the backyard.
Yeah, that's right. Like we're talking about in the after episode, rigging your lures different, changing it up.
anyone could be the next bloke to find something that triggers a fish.
That's right. And if you can find that fish trigger, that's what we're all searching for. It's that next little alteration or modification or some bait that someone hasn't thought about to really trigger that bite. It's just like go back 10 years in yellow fishing.
Yeah.
Who the hell thought about tying on gulp and soft plastics to catch yellows?
Exactly.
Like if you think about the yellow scene and Jamie, like an absolute icon and someone who's developed the yellow scene, Jamie Hardman.
Amen.
He had a technique named after him called the Hardman Shuffle.
Yep.
Which was diving crankbait, and then you get the slack and you slap that slack to make your diving crankbait move. Am I correct? Not correct.
Nah.
What do you mean?
He was the first bloke to shake soft vibes over the bottom.
Yeah, but he also had something called the Hardman Shuffle, which, I don't know, I might have to fact check this, but I thought he used to go on edge and spring bite, cast out his bibbed crankbaits, crank them down, get the slack, and then slap that slack, which makes the hard bait twitch. Never heard of that?
No.
Oh, shit. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I've come up with something totally different here.
I definitely know Hardman. He wrote the book On the Edge with
Oh, mate, didn't he?
Yosh.
And how many tournaments has that guy won?
Ridiculous. It is. You couldn't write a book about it. It'd be longer than Harry Potter. Like it's. Yeah, he was the first bloke to shake and whatever you want to call it on the edge with soft vibes.
Yeah.
And mate, he fucking
He killed it.
annihilated it. Like.
Yeah.
I remember there was one comp, I got a 5.9. Oh, no, sorry, it was 5.8 something. 5.8 average over 10 fish in the trees. I fish trees.
Yeah.
And he was shaking edge. And I remember going up and talking to him, and he was like, our smallest fish was 6.13.
That's just, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, and he had that technique down packed. He did keep it a long time under his belt.
Well, that's the thing, like go back 10 years and then see what the yellow scene is now, where we're using 3-inch grubs, doing trees when it's out of spring season, on spring, you're going to the edge, you're doing vibes, you're doing blades. And it's just something that develops over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, speaking about, we're coming to our spring bite, mate. How exciting is that?
Oh, mate, I'm actually really pumped for the old spring bite, the bass and the yellows.
Yeah.
I've got a few bass trips lined up.
Yeah, well, we've got a bass trip lined up in 2 weeks from recording this at Glenbourne.
So it'll be,
Which,
the week of, maybe. But
yeah. Week of this is released, maybe the week after, I can't remember. But it'll be good fun, like, jig bite.
A little bit early, but hopefully we get them to turn on the edge.
Yeah.
And then by the time we finish this little bass run for the next month, it'll be full swing for the yellows.
Oh, mate, I am so excited. We've kind of missed a little bit of a spring bite in Burrendong in the last couple of years. They haven't gone as hard.
I've had every year I get a real good edge bite at Burrendong. That's why it's my soft spot. Yes, it's my home dam, but God, fuck, they go off on edge.
And like we've talked about before, we really think Burrendong is going to be the up and coming yellow belly dam.
Mate, I'll bet $100 right now.
Go on then, I'll take that bet.
Done. Let me know when you want to pay me. I'll give you big details.
But yeah, we really think Burrendong is going to be that edge bite king.
Yeah, like even last year, it was supposed to be a tough bite, and I remember getting 70-odd fish before midday.
Yeah. I remember you boys being down at Burrendong, and I unfortunately had to work and come down on the Sunday. And you guys were all in the swags with sore bloody heads. And I rock up, and we bang, I think I banged 30 or 40 that morning.
Yeah.
And you guys, sore heads, are still smacking them.
Oh, mate, it's just when that dam switches on.
It switches on big time.
Oh, just nail it.
And you haven't got to go far.
No, you don't.
And we talked about it before. You can literally see the boat ramp and still smack good yellows
I was showing a bloke
Continuous.
today in the store about I was rigging up some football jigs for bass fishing next weekend. Mm-hmm. And he said, "Oh, what are you rigging these up for?" I said, "Yeah, it's bass. I'm going to Glenbourne, blah, 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 trying to get the early spring bite, fingers crossed."
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "Do you ever use them on yellows?" And I said, "Have I what?"
You've talked about this before.
So he's like, "Oh, yeah, what do you mean about yellows on jigs?" And I said, "Mate, I'll show you a video right now on my phone."
Yeah.
I got my phone out and I had an edge bite 2 years ago where I was literally getting a yeller a cast on football jigs. So I showed him this little clip of winding this, shaking, whatever you want to call it. I was just barely moving this lure across the bottom.
Slow as anything.
You don't have to put a lot of action into a jig.
I don't think you do, because like with the whole skirt, you cast it out, let it sit, and you're casting into 2 meters, 3 meters of water, if that. Just a bit of a shake, and you can wind as slow as you want, because it's
100%.
just imitating a yabby coming across the bottom.
Yeah, and you've heard it once and you'll hear it 1,000 times. It is my favourite way to catch fish. There is nothing more exciting than a fish ticking a jig.
Yeah.
And the best part is you have literally a couple of seconds, which sounds very short, but it's not. It's long.
Yeah.
You can watch this fish pick it up or literally feel this fish and you go, righto, you ready? Watch
Load
this.
up.
And then you hit it and you go, wait, I froth it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm in the Bassmaster Elites USA. Like, you got to jack their jaws.
Yeah.
But it
really
is,
crank it into
it just gives me pumped.
And on edge, like generally they're not going to be sitting on structure. They're not going to tie you up. You can fish a little bit lighter. Yeah, it's just good fun. Like light gear, big fish. I
really want people to start throwing football jigs. Like it is, just give it a weekend and just throw it.
Yeah.
Like you'll be honestly blown away. I've gone from sight fishing yellers at Windermere to throwing rock walls to throwing flats, and it just works. It really does.
Yep. And even like, football jigs, put some trailers on. If you don't just like a football jig with a skirt, go buy some trailers. And I'm going to plug them a little bit here, but you and I over COVID, when we were really starting to try to fish hard and we had that whole, you got to be out of the dam by 5 o'clock and whatever.
Yeah.
We went and spent stupid amounts of money on these trailers.
I'm pretty sure that was like $1,000 each.
A bit of money. Like we said, we're not smart. We love fishing and we spend our money on that.
Yeah.
But we bought these like 6 cents and what was the other?
Net baits.
Yeah. We bought all these baits.
Kumamoto. Like there's so many
different soft plastics over in the States, and we brought them over here and they bloody worked, mate.
They do. They honestly do.
And here I was I've tried out so many different rigging methods over the last couple of years, Ned rigs, Carolina rigs, drop shot rigs, all that sort of stuff. Mate, they work.
They do.
They all work.
Australia is so far behind America.
That's right.
It's not funny.
I reckon we're a good, what would you say, a good 3 years, 5 years behind America?
Yeah, easy.
But we are catching up. We are catching up slowly.
We are, yeah. Like, even going back to cod lures, mate, like a lot of the musky fishing is our cod lures.
That's right. Like, even if you go down to your local tackle shop and you go look at a spinnerbait and it's in a pike shape, like, why is it in a pike shape?
Well, because
guess what?
the States had it.
States had it. They come over here and they catch fish.
Yeah, so, get on the football jigs. Give them a go.
Football jigs with trailers, even if you need to. And even switch up. I mean, a football jig is only one step away from a chatterbait, really. It's a bib away.
I'm going to put it, like, Dane don't know nothing about this, right?
Oh, shit, here we go.
So, I'll tell you what. I'm going to put it out there. You give jig fishing a go.
Yeah.
And you catch some yellows on it.
Yep.
And you got a good weekend and good story about it and a couple of photos. I want you to send them in to me and Dane, and I will buy 5 jigs and send them to you if you can show me that you've given it a go and you've caught yellows on it.
Get stuffed.
I will.
You 100%. will. Mate, you'll be broke.
I want to hear it.
How about let's do one better? Let's go one better.
Let's go.
Forget that. He's not going to send you 5 jigs. The best yellow belly we see in this cod in this cod close season, so till December 1st, the biggest yellow we see,
Yep.
we're going to send out a prize pack.
And let's go hard too. Let's go hard.
Yeah.
Now, me and
How about
Dane do this podcast out of our own pocket, right?
We do, but we do it for the love of the sport.
It is. We love talking to everyone about it. So, how about, what do you reckon? $200 worth of...
Fuck it, let's do it. $100 each. Let's do it.
Done.
Right, so we want to see, and we're making this up on the spot.
Yeah, 100%. So,
we want to see on a brag mat, and what's a fair way to judge it?
I reckon something with codtail. If you can...
Right. Yep. Let's do, if you can get the biggest yeller by December 1st with some cod tails,
written on a piece of paper.
Put the podcast on your phone and sit it next to the yeller. Put a photo or something about us.
If it's got Codtails podcast written on it, you got to...
And it's the biggest. $200 worth of lures of our choice are going your way.
Amen.
Mate, off the top of the dome, that's a little bit scary, but yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Run with it.
But going back to our bass, so we got, that's yellows. Mate, yellow's going to be good this year. But going back to bass, we're less than a week away from this now.
Oh, yes.
Going to Glenbourne, going for a jig bite. It's going to be fun.
Look, it should be. We are a bit early, but look, the early bird gets the worm.
That's right.
So we might get over there and catch absolutely nothing but white marlins in a can, or we could catch a lot of bass on jigs with a few white marlin. We'll find out.
And the bass this year, that from what I've heard, they're going really good in Glenbourne. Like, they're big, they're fat.
Yeah.
Like, you were talking to a few bass fishers over there, and they're...
Yeah, I'll give you this theory. My biggest is a 1.4 kilo. He's probably about 45 centimetre.
Yep.
He's 1.4 kilo, right?
Gotcha.
At the moment, Glenbourne is going that thick and healthy that a 40 centimetre bass is going between 1.7 and 1.9 kilo.
What?
Fat.
Are you serious?
Yeah. 100%.
I'm very excited about 2 weeks now.
I could beat my PB in weight, probably not length.
Yeah.
How cool would it be to catch a... Like, imagine if you got a 2 kilo bass. That's pretty...
Mate, that's trophy.
100%.
That is trophy. And I've not done that much bass fishing. I've gone maybe half a dozen sessions.
Yeah.
My favourite bass water fishing is top.
Oh, top water's unreal. Yeah.
Oh, that you only get like maybe an hour and a half a day where that change of light, and you're chucking out whopper ploppers, and you're chucking out little, cicada type lures and paddlers and whatever else on top. Oh, that is the best. And that was my first bass experience too. Went to Glenbourne, went with the missus in a little 4 metre tinny. You find a thicket, or you find like top water weed. Yeah. And the thing that I did, chuck whopper plopper in. It creates a little opening in the like duckweed or whatever is there, and you crank it back, and then I chuck a cicada out into that opening in the duckweed and just sit it there, put the rod down, put your foot on it, and you just chuck the whopper plopper around it.
Yeah.
And guess what? 9 times out of 10, it wasn't that bloody cicada that's been sitting there for 10 minutes in the opening.
Yeah. I've actually got a really good story about it might have been AOIC, I think, at Glenbourne with a not so much surface bite, but it was a surface bite.
Yeah.
I fished with Josh Eags.
Bigsy.
He good fella, really knew his shit too. And
great fisher.
I remember we fished a comp together at Glenbourne.
Yeah.
Had a bit of pre-fish, and I remember the pre-fish morning, I had a blinder on surface.
Really?
Oh, absolute blind. And everyone,
I have never had I love surface fishing there, and I've done well outside of tournaments. Never had a blinder on surface on tournaments.
Oh, mate, I'm not going to lie, this was pre-fish. I think I went 9 or 10 bass on surface.
Oh,
and they were all proper fish. And I was like,
the best way to catch them.
Holy shit! Like, yeah, this is my technique. And I remember getting the afternoon, and I never got a touch. And I was like, oh fuck, maybe it's just a morning thing, whatever.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Well, then Higgsy started belting. Josh Higgs.
Yeah.
He started belting fish on, I think it was 3-inch Cortex.
Plastics. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely plastics.
What colour?
Motor oil.
I do love motor oil colour.
You can't beat motor oil. And he started belting them, and I was like, shit, but this is the way to go. They'll fair sized fish, whatnot.
Yep.
And we fished the whole day. So we'd gone in the tournament morning and thrown these Cortex, and we did get fish and whatnot, but they weren't the fish I was getting on surface.
Yeah, right.
Like, I was getting some proper fish on surface, but
Right, just tanks.
I'd catch 1 to his 5 type of thing.
Yeah, right.
So we fished the whole Saturday, done the both sessions. I think we were sitting pretty, like we might have been 4th or 5th from memory.
Yep.
Which was all right. Like, we're up there in the pointy end. And anyway, we've gone out on the Sunday, and we're all banging for upgrades, and this is where the chaos starts. So I think we went about 3 hours and didn't get a fish.
That's when you start panicking.
Yeah, and kind of a good thing too. Like, it makes you think out of the box. But yeah, we've thrown our Cortex, we've thrown everything that's worked for us. And I remember being in this little bay, and I was like, mate, remember when I was catching fish in here on surface? And he's like, yeah. Mind you, the comp finished at 11:30. And I remember looking at the time, we'd peppered this bay for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and we never got a touch. I was like, fuck, I'm out of options. And I sat down the console, and here's one of me MC fizzers sitting on the console. I said,
and this is a little secret, and I don't like giving it away, and you've just given it away.
I'm gonna.
Pro Fishman McFizzers on bass, even though, what they are, 110 lure?
Yeah, they're 110.
And you think they're too big for bass?
Yeah, you do.
They are not. Holy dooly, do they catch bass?
Yeah, and we throw them for the cod in the river.
Yeah, I love I do love catching them in. You give another fucking secret away, you can't.
You gotta let the boys know.
But those McFizzers, upgrade the hooks for Murray cod, unreal, and they do work on bass. And holy dooly, you wouldn't realise it.
Yeah,
and that's when I was mentioning whopper ploppers. That's what I meant.
Well, so we're in this bay, and obviously fish for a bit, and we hadn't got a thing. And I said, well, fuck it, we've got half hour left of the comp. I'm going to tie an MC Fizz. And right as I was tying it, we got a heap of cloud cover. Like, it blew over, nearly about to storm.
Just
and I was
barometric pressure change, the whole sky changed, blew up.
Yeah, it was just, you couldn't cast a shadow in the water.
Wow.
It was dark.
That's unreal.
And I thought,
that's when you want to be chucking them.
If they're gonna eat surface, surely there's no different thing than being 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. And
I launched this MC Fizz out, and I just, as always, just quick wind back. It is a pretty big burn. I love winding them quick as shit.
Do you?
Yeah, absolutely love it.
For me with MC Fizz, I love chucking them out and burning real hard for about 2 or 3 winds and then pausing, because they sit so hard tail in the water.
They do, yeah.
And then you give it, depending on the day, you got to pick it. You pick 10 seconds, or if you're going to pause for a minute.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, burn hard. Stop. Tail goes in the water, sits up, and you go 1, count 10, or count whatever.
Count, yeah.
Yep.
I fished. I just love that consistent fast speed.
Yep.
Mainly because I love to carry cover ground, and I remember exact same thing was, yeah, fuck it. I'm just going to throw out and I'm just going to send it like I would of an early morning. And
Yeah, right.
this was the
Really
very
stirring 'em up.
first cast in this bay.
Yeah.
Mind you, we're throwing plastics and blades and shit
Whatever else
all
in
around.
there.
I was just thinking out 10 cranks to the handle and got walloped. And I was like,
Bang.
oh, bang, yep, there he is. We got him in the boat. He was like a 42 or something. I was like,
Oh,
here we go.
cracker.
We slapped him in the live well. And I remember Higgsy at front of the boat. He's like, how did you catch one on surface in the middle of the day? And I said, mate, I'm speechless myself. Launched it out again. This is the second cast.
Yeah.
Brr, bang.
Bang.
But I missed him. And I was like, holy shit. And I remember
That's
looking
where
at
you
Higgsy,
need your paws, mate. That's where I like my paws, is right when they hit them.
and Higgsy was like, you just got another hit. And I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah. Anyway, I've burned all the way back to the boat. Didn't get another hit. Threw back straight in the same spot. And I literally wouldn't have got 2 cranks to handle and just got smashed
Crack.
again.
Yep,
and I was
smashed.
like, yeah, I'm on again. And this thing was another 42. They were our 2 biggest fish, right?
Off surface, mid-arvo.
Mid-arvo, on
That-
surface.
that's
and we
fucking nuts.
Put them in the boat. No, I remember Higgsy, he's trying to tie on an MC Fizz. And I'm like, mate, we've literally got 10 minutes left of fishing before
Hold
we're going
up.
to head
It
back.
sounds like you just live in, what's his name? Takiharu.
Takiaro. Yeah. Fucking hell.
You're just reliving his dream, aren't you?
Mate, and I've
And just pause for a second.
yeah.
Anyone who wants to see an awesome fishing video, go see Takiharu win
2003.
2003 win Bassmaster Elite.
Yeah. He won it
Oh,
in the last 3 minutes.
Just watch that video and I get excited just fucking thinking about it.
Yeah. And we get back to Daddy Marto there and you fish to the last second and that's
Oh,
exactly
Daddy
why.
Marto, I was about to bring him up earlier because I was just about to say bass switch on and off so damn quick.
They do. They're temperamental.
So me and Marto were fishing this comp at Glenbourne, AYC. We pull up into this bay and me, Marto and Ross, who's one of Marto's good mates, might be even
Brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Anyway, we all chuck out, pull up to this bay, pull up, chuck out soft plastics, and we have a triple hookup on bass. And I've never had that before. Awesome. Anyway, I've side railed your story. Keep going.
Yeah, so I've landed the 2 fish, launched back out, and obviously Higgsy's tying on his MC Fizz. Mind you, these ain't a deer lure. Like, they're cheap, they're pro fishing
work?
MC Fizz, but they fucking produce. So
Unreal.
this is my 3rd cast, and I missed another fish, and it blew up on me lure, and I missed it, and I was like, oh fuck. Anyway, by the time Higgsy's had 3 casts, we couldn't get another hit, and we went back in.
Time's ticking down. 10 minutes to go.
And it was just like we need to go. We need to go now. Like otherwise,
Yep.
we're going to get penalised. And we're
And what
flying
is
back.
it? It's 100 mil a minute, isn't it?
Yeah, 100 mil. Yeah, it might be 100 mil.
100 mil a minute.
Yeah. So we're flown back down to Maybole and we're full sing 110k an hour.
110k an hour. What the bloody boat were you in?
200, 190 skeeter. Woohoo! Hey, man.
Good fun.
And yeah, we're hauling ass. Got back to camp. And when we pulled in, we had a minute left.
A minute left.
And I
Weigh
remember
your bass in.
making a joke with Iggsy. I said, fuck, that was one more cast. And he said, be fuck, like, way too close, way too
Cut
close.
it to that quick.
And we pulled in and we've weighed our fish and they're like, oh, geez, you got some good fish this session. I said, oh, talk about the last half hour. Like, it was on.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things in a tournament where we should have done it earlier type of thing. So
Isn't that always the way though?
Oh,
Like, fuck, I wish I thought about this earlier. Fuck,
We
I wish I
ended
did
up-
this earlier.
we ended up staying 4th, but we only got those 2 upgrades.
Yeah.
But if we done that half hour earlier, we only lost
Oh, well,
by
you reckon you
like
could Do you reckon you could have done a half hour earlier with the whole cloud bowling over? And whatever?
Maybe. Yeah, that's something for the guys to tell me. But
Yeah.
it was just the perfect moment, and it just felt right to me, so I did it.
Yeah.
Like, I've never ever caught a cod midday on surface. I know a few people have, but
Yeah, I've heard people doing it. Like even our good mate Budge in the local river here,
100%.
he floated down from the mate boat ramp in the middle of Dubbo, which, not many people fish because it gets hammered. And he chucked out, what was it, a Rick Peel snake. Mm-hmm. And he had a blow up that he's never seen before.
Reckon it's the biggest fish he's ever seen hit surface.
Yeah. Middle of the river, middle of the day. Unreal. And just, try different things when you're out there.
Yeah, you everyone develop, like, don't worry about the technology. Yes, it helps us, but you have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Give it a go. Sit down in the shed, tie your own lures, tie your own trick shot. Like, it's the little things. Me and Dane talk about it a lot. It's one percenters.
That's the 1% thing. Like, it's scent. Tying your own soft plastics. Don't rely on what you buy out of the shop to work.
Yeah.
Like just this afternoon, I went in and bought footy jigs, bare, without skirts. I bought the footy jig, I bought the different skirt, and then I'm like, crap, I've got trailers at home and I'll tie on different trailers onto those and go from there. Customize. That's what I can recommend.
Yeah, you got to jam up.
Yeah. Don't buy stock and just expect them to... Oh, they do work. All lures work. All stock lures will work.
I reckon it's confidence. If
Confidence,
you got confidence in it, it'll work.
Yeah, it's just... And that's what... going back to Daddy Marto.
Daddy Marto, shout out. Outback Predator Fishing.
Outback Predator
I'll give
Fishing.
you a quick shout out. Outback Predator Fishing. Him and his young fella, Riles.
Yep.
They
Riles,
do some unreal fishing.
jig fisher. Riles is an unreal jig fisher.
If you ever want to fish a redfin comp and you see a name called Riley Martin,
Don't bother.
don't bother. He has the technique down packed.
100%.
Like, it is ridiculous.
Yep. And going back to the confidence thing with Marto, when we used to go out and fish, it's like we used to pre-fish and he'd say, you need your confidence fish.
Yes.
And that confidence fish was you go out the day before to pre-fish, you try and find the bait that works, you find the bait that works and you get the one fish, that's your confidence fish. And you go,
off the back.
Monkey's off the back. And you go, that's the lure I'm going to use because that's the fish I've got.
Yeah, it always is. Like that first fish of a tournament is the hardest one to catch.
Yeah, this is the biggest pressure on your shoulders.
You get that fish in the boat, whether it's 30 centimetres
Whatever.
or 60.
Yeah.
You
realise,
right, we're on the board.
it's going to
Let's
work.
go.
Yeah.
And I love it. And for me, I sell fishing gear for a living, obviously, but my passion...
I buy fishing gear for a living.
Yeah. My passion is obviously fishing, and it always will be. I can't wait to have kids and show them what I know and stuff like that, and which means a lot to me. I love showing my missus. She's always been a passionate fisherman, and she's caught more barra than I could fucking think of. But
Caught more barra than you, I've heard.
oh, well and truly, mate. I've never actually caught one. So if anyone on this podcast has got a good barra spot, hit me up.
Yeah, me too. We still haven't made it up there. We've talked about it about 2 or 3 years in a row, going up and catching barra, and we still never made it.
No, I've never done it. But yeah, it's just I love the whole sport of showing what I know.
Yep.
And which goes for selling gear, mate. I love
sharing what you know with the wider public.
Yeah.
And keeping a few little secrets.
And that's the part I struggle about. I've got a soft
He
heart.
does. He really does.
I really do.
Yeah.
I can go out and absolutely brain the fish, and the next week I'm telling everyone about it.
Yeah.
Like I just love seeing people out there and going and coming back to the store and going, holy
Smile
shit,
on
mate,
their face.
You made my family's weekend. You made my weekend, and I love that deeply. I really do. Always been a big thing in me is I love and let live, and that's me.
100%. And that's what's fishing about. Like, it's not about keeping the secrets to yourself. It's about sharing the experience.
It is, yeah, man.
And we've said that multiple times, whether it be about fish care or how the fishing methods have changed over the time. It's about sharing it. It really is. Like we're all about love and fucking sharing fishing
Let
stories.
someone else have a go.
That's right. 100%.
You just brained 50 fish in one session. Let someone else have a crack. But and in saying that, like, there's a lot of people that make a living off fishing and they want to keep it secret. But good on them. Like, they're making money and it makes people guessing, which also keeps a lot of people interested.
There's always the freaks in the sport. And probably going back to talking about Glenbourne and talking about freaks and people keeping secrets. So the comp I was talking about with Mardo and Ross.
Rossi.
We were in the AYC Grand Final, which was a bass comp, at Glenbourne, and we were getting smoked. We were having fun. Don't get me wrong. We were catching fish on surface. We were getting them on soft plastic sort of stuff, having fun. However, didn't do well in the comp. I think we ended up 9th in the Grand Final. But you have people like Steve Muldoon. Shout out to him. That bloke can bloody fish from the ABT. And he was in the Grand Final for AYC. And no one was catching a full bag of fish.
No one.
It
was a very tough comp. Yeah.
Super tough. But Steve Muldoon, he knew what to do. And he was catching full bags of fish, heaps of fish every single session. We had 3 sessions. And even some of the big bass anglers that were there, that comp, they were talking about jerk baiting over weed patches. And they were chucking the jerk baits over, cranking them back and waiting a minute to 10 minutes for a bite.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Steve Muldoon had pulled up 4 bass in 15 minutes at the start of the session.
Yeah, that's right.
So, you know, there's those techniques that they hold on to, and that's their prerogative. That's their living.
There's nothing wrong with that. Like,
no, definitely not. But that's their prerogative to hold on to those secrets.
You just don't have a soft heart like me.
Not like you.
I just love seeing people smile, mate. And that goes back to the mental health board. Like, if people are happy, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's right.
And that goes to both of us. And, like, there's one thing I'd love to talk about is Steve Galvo's comps.
Galvo's comps. God bless him.
So he runs Teams Australia.
Yep.
Which you don't have to be a absolute gun at fishing to fish these comps.
No. God, no.
Yes, they are there. You do pay the money to get in them, but you've got to understand that he pays out to a lot of places. So me and Dane have had a bit of a chat to him tonight, and he's next year where he's hoping he'll have dates released in November.
Yep.
And he's going to pay out to 20th place.
20th place, yep, which is unheard of with most fishing comps. Most fishing comps I see, you get 1 to 3 get prize money, 4 to 10 get prize packs, whatever else.
And the thing I want to get across here is if you ever want to do it, kids, family, wife, whatever, you go get involved in one of those comps. You're going to learn very, very quick. And that's the way I did it.
Yep.
I started fishing comps 14 years ago.
I've only started fishing comps 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And my learning curve is just fucking straight up because that's you learn. They talk about the end of the session, what they've done, how they've done it, whatever else. Obviously, there's some industry secrets that some people hold on to. That's fine.
You talk to people. Everyone's friendly. They honestly are. If you can start a conversation with a bloke, he's going to let you in.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Yeah, you just give that chance. Like if no, it's a little bit of money, and you got to go give those chances a go, type of thing. But you give it a go, you're going to learn so much. You're honestly going to boost yourself up. You're going to have more confidence, and you're going to want to fish more comps.
And this is a funny quote. the one something I've heard in the last week is that fishermen of all the professions in the world are the most trustworthy liars.
100%.
Even though they lie about how big, how they caught it, whatever, they're the most trustworthy people you'll know.
Yeah, that's right. But it is honestly true. But in saying that, and a lot of my friendships have come from tournament fishing.
Mate, I've developed so many friendships over the last 4 years just from tournament fishing of people I've talked to and still talk to once a week, once a month, whatever. Hey, mate, how you doing? And they live in either a totally different state, totally different town, whatever. Hey, mate, how's the fishing down there? Whatever. And you have something in common to talk about.
Yeah, that's right. And, like, there's no age involved. There's no sex. There's no fucking sex. Don't even start about that with the genders and shit. But, like, anyone can do it, and that's what I love about it. Like, I fished my first comp when I was 14. I won my second ever comp. The second comp I won was out of a 12-foot tinny with a 5 horse on the back.
Yep.
No
Have a go.
I just had to go. I dug my heels in. I took some big blokes on, and I won it. I didn't even have a live well back then, mate. It was a plastic container sitting in the middle of my boat
with a bit of a air stone or something in it.
I had an aerator in it. Yeah. So, like, yeah, I really want to encourage people to get into this type of thing. It's honestly unreal. You sit back. Yes, don't expect to win a comp every time. That's everyone.
No. I go for the fun and the yarns.
Yeah, and like the beers around the campfire. That's what we're all about. Me and Dane are about the campfire and the beers and the shit stories and the fucking...
Mardo builds a campfire and keeps going all night, and the stories keep flowing around it.
if you ever want a good chat, like, finish your comp and find Matt Martin's camp.
Yep, and he's got about 20 blokes around it, sitting around the campfire having a good chat, and you'll exponential learning.
Yeah, no, it's always a good event. Always, really is.
100%. Well, on that great note, I reckon we might pull it there, eh? Well, you got some more shit to talk about, mate.
I've got heaps, mate, but I better save it. Let's leave it for another week or two.
Yep, for sure. So let that all soak in, and it is a beautiful sport.
It is. Get into it.
No matter what you do, it's a beautiful sport.
And on that note, we've also got our lure auctions up on our socials.
Yeah, well, they'll probably be done by the time this comes out.
Yep. We'll have one probably every fortnight, so keep an eye out. Like, jump on our socials. If you haven't got us, Facebook, Instagram. Our auctions are held on Facebook just so we can keep the comments in one section. And
we do apologise to a couple of boys that have been bidding on Instagram. So we post on Facebook, Instagram at the same time. However, all the auctions are held locally on Facebook on the original post. And that's where you need to go to place your bid onto Yeah. And we've had such a good turnout for the first mental health auction.
I'm over the moon on
how
amazed. Everyone's approached it. Is yes, we're giving away lures for an auction, but it is for a good cause. And
I'm not giving away.
Can
People have donated. Like that's the beautiful thing about the fishing community. People have donated their beloved lures to us, and then we've put them up online, and people are bidding on those lures to go to a great cause. And it is beautiful. We love it. We really do.
It is good.
Just trying to do our part into the fishing community.
Yeah. And like I said, every week in and out is me and Dane, we've got this thing of that's one thing we want to support, and fishing is a big industry about it. But without you guys donating lures it's
exist.
Not possible.
No, that's right.
Like, we've donated our own. And
we've donated our own, which will go up soon enough.
But I'll tell you what, is the next upcoming weeks, I have never seen so much it just excites me so much.
He can't put it into words.
The lures that are coming through are just absolutely insane.
Mate, yeah, and to be honest to me, I can't believe it. Like, just looking at the lure board behind us right now, we've got custom-made lures, we've got timber lures, we've got stuff in packets you can buy off the shelf, which people have donated, which is also fantastic. And it does not take away what lure you donate. It's just awesome.
And
just awesome.
Dane will hate me for this, but I'm also going to give it a little bit of a rev up. If you guys are a Carl Jockelson fan.
Oh, here we go. And this lure is super special. And
I'm not going to lie, it's something that hits hard and hits home. Like, it's... Wow. Yep. It's an Australian ambassador that fishes over in the States, and he's won a Bassmaster Elite. Like, that is the pinnacle of every fishing sport, comp, whatever you want to call it. And he's gone
you
over
fished
there.
Against Carl and a few.
I did back in the day.
What was that, Freshwater Masters? You fished against him? And
Nah, it was ABTs.
ABTs, yep.
Back at Glenbourne,
Yeah.
Yeah, and like...
Genuine bloke.
Do you think I could get close to Carl? No, he's a freak.
No, he's a freak, absolutely. And there's a reason why he's over in the States doing what he does.
Exactly right. Yeah. He's over there for a reason. He's representing Australia.
Yeah.
And we have a lure coming up. I don't want to give too much details.
Not too many details, but in the next... After this is released, let's say a couple of months past this episode, it'll come up.
Just keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Because this one
Unreal lure.
Pretty cool and
used by him.
Very unique.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get this
him,
again.
Signed by him.
Oh.
Beautiful.
I got the hibby-jibbies holding this lure. So
I rocked into the shop the day that Az got this lure and he was still bloody shaking.
I really was. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to us. And it's probably going to mean a lot to you. So
yeah, 100%. All right, and just to round this out, talking about the comp we're going to run for the biggest yellow belly by the 1st of December, which is cod opening, we have an awesome prize pack that's going to go along with that.
That we do, Dane. So what we've got together, thanks to the boys at Wilson, we've got a Zerrick and Bone lure pack, including divers, surface, swim baits, spinner baits, you name it, valued at $300 to get your cod season started.
Oh, how good. All those cod lollies. Lovely.
Beautiful.
Righto, boys. We'll leave you at that.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.